Do you think you guys can? What do you think the chances are you guys make it at 9-3 in the playoffs?
I don't like those odds. Who's your marquee win?
I went back to 2014, which is the start of the college football playoff, of course. How many 9-win teams do you think made the top 12 in the last 10 years? Just 10.
Hmm.
That's a 7.6% chance that happens, that you
Yeah.
guys make the playoff at 9 wins.
All right, welcome back to another episode, the Sunday special episode. I was out with a family trip. Those of you with kids know there's a difference between vacations and trips. I had the kids with me, so it was a trip. So I could not record earlier this week. So Garrison, thanks for being flexible with me, and we have a Sunday release.
Of course, no. I mean, I think we both done favors for each other, being flexible for each other.
We
So
have
pause. So yeah, it's
with like I said, with kids. I got a child on
yeah.
here right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Okay,
me.
there you go. There you go, boo. Well, awesome, dude. Well, so you came up with some really good topics again. And I'm excited about
Are we gonna start
this.
with what we were gonna end with? Then I
Yes,
assume. Okay, then.
yes.
I actually made a change to the games too. I did some more research, but continue. Go ahead and
Oh, did you? Okay, good. Yeah, I feel like I've got some duh ones, but then also some maybe not so expected ones. So we'll dive into that here. Before we do, I don't have a bottle with me, but stock to bar vodka, delicious vodka, smooth taste with a purpose. Sponsors our show here, and so just reminder for you: if you're looking for a great tasting vodka out there, go look for Stock
hmm
to Bar. A portion of every bottle sold goes to the Boys and Girls Club. So you can not only get great vodka, but also support a great cause. So go find it, stocktobar.com.
And as always, drink responsibly and only over the age of 21.
21. That's right. I don't know if it's sold in another country. Maybe it's sold in Canada. I don't know. But yes, drink responsibly. All right,
Oh,
Garrison,
maybe Russia.
that would be wild if Stock to
they
Bar
like
was sold in Russia.
they like vodka
Shout out to Daryl for
for sure.
distribution overseas to Russia. That'd be awesome. All right, so we previewed this last week. We ran out of time. I think it's a fun
Mhm.
topic, especially since it's July 21st. The games that will shape the Big Ten outside of the obvious three. Guess what are the obvious three?
The obvious games to me are games that include Ohio State and Oregon, Ohio State and you guys in Oregon.
Those are
What
the
else?
three. Yeah.
Yeah, that three mix up. Those are three, and I also took in a way. No, yeah, those three, just those three. Take them out of here. Just take them out of here
So yeah,
because
real quick, Ohio State goes to Oregon week 7.
mhm.
Michigan goes to Ohio State the last week of November, last week of the season. And then Oregon comes to Michigan week 10. So those are the games that we're
Yeah.
talking about. We think that those
Mhm.
three will shape the Big Ten, but there's a lot of other ones to talk about.
There,
By the
there,
way,
there are a lot of other games. Hey, with this many teams in it's 18, isn't it? With 18 teams in the conference, the conference is bigger than just 3 games.
of course,
You
of
know,
course.
so that was the
Which
point.
is which is bigger? Not for the rivalry, not for you and I, because obviously the biggest game is Michigan Ohio State for you and I, but for the Big Ten,
Thank you,
what's bigger?
thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, that's Trevor, Josh, big fans,
Hey,
man.
and you guys
But
asked for
come
receipts.
on,
You asked for the
I know,
receipts.
and you proved it. You came with them. But those guys were saying that Texas, Michigan is bigger than Ohio State. Come on, come on. You could
More
lose
important,
Texas,
like
and then if you beat Ohio State, obviously that's worlds better for a multitude of reasons. But um, which is bigger for the Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State, or Oregon, Ohio State?
Oregon, Ohio State.
Wow. Okay, you
And
said it.
and it's not. And I'm not saying that the game is bigger than the game. Well, in terms of the conference, like in terms of what's going to happen in the conference
Right.
and what can turn out, I personally believe that Oregon is going to go into Michigan and win. So, and I believe that by that time, Michigan will have 2 losses before they even get to Columbus. So, uh, that's the only reason why. Because I think especially with whatever happens with Penn State.
Yeah. Which
So,
Michigan does not play Penn State, everyone, by the way.
mhm.
And I'm sorry, I'm battling a cold again. Kids get me sick. So
Don't blame them.
Apologies.
Don't blame them for your weak immune system.
Just germ infested creature. I love him to death. All right. Well, who you got? So you said, hey, let's pick, I guess, three to
Pick
five.
three to
Give me
five.
one. What's another game that you're highlighting?
Okay, so the first I'm going to highlight here is Nebraska and USC, and we kind of touched on this at
Yes.
the end of the last episode.
I had that one
I
too.
brought up about awesome. But I brought up how coming into the Ohio State game, there's a chance they'd be 7-0, right? Now let's just say you take that loss and you look at the rest of their schedule. Um, Now they also had like some other games they have. I think they go Rutgers at IU to Ohio State, UCLA, and then they hit USC. Now I believe they can win the Rutgers game, the Indiana game, and the UCLA game. So let's say you got four of those three, then you go to USC. I think that game is very important because right after that, Bryce, they have Wisconsin, and then they go to Iowa. I think you're going to probably split those games. I think that USC game is very vital for them to get at the worst two losses in the conference, if not just one. So yeah, I think, and I'm not really talking about this from the USC side because I think Nebraska might be better than USC this year, and I don't have much faith in USC this year. As I've said before, I'll say it again. I think you guys are whatever you before they play the Michigan USC game. I think they should put explicit in the corner just for the rest for that game. The way you guys gonna
Wow.
run through them,
Okay.
but same thing for LSU against USC. I'm gonna pile through them, but no, yeah, Nebraska USC, and you said you had the same thing.
Yeah, I have that one as a notable one for sure. I Nebraska to me is like Oregon in a way that I got to see it. I mean, there's so much hype. Not different amount of hype.
Wait, you
There's
wait.
there's
wait.
there's there's
Take that
there's
back. Take that back.
no,
Take that
there's
back.
so much hype with Oregon, and I gotta believe it when I see it. Like everyone's talking about, oh, Dan Lanning's the next best coach. If he wins this year, then I'll put him there. But I gotta see it first. Same way with like everyone's so high on Nebraska right now. Whether it's Riola, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's is this Matt Rule's second year
Yeah,
or third year? Second year, right?
second year.
Yeah, second
Mm-hmm.
year. There's a lot of hype in Lincoln, and so I gotta believe it. I believe it when I see it. And then, like you said, they go to LA, um, and they go to LA, and I think that's gonna be a great game,
Yeah.
just for the sense of what it would mean for them. So I like that one a lot too.
So
Um,
what's another one you had?
so another one I had, and I'm kind of going with the chalk ones first. Well, let me take a step to the side here. So this offseason, Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
Washington, USC, UCLA came to the Big Ten, or coming to the Big Ten. They're in the Big Ten now. All the talk has been around those four, and take out UCLA. Not a lot of talk, and honestly,
Mm-hmm.
take out a lot of Washington hype because of everything they lost, new
Yeah.
coach, but they did just play a national championship, so there's still some buzz around them. But Oregon, USC come to
No,
town. Michigan,
there's no
Ohio
buzz around
State.
Washington.
I like
There's
Jed
no
Fish a
buzz
lot.
around Washington.
I
No,
think
Jeff Fish is a great coach. There's
I
no
think
buzz around the program.
okay. They were just national championship game. It's like TCU. There was buzz, and then they got punked by
Oregon won, or
Colorado.
Bryce Auburn won the national championship, and the next year there was no buzz around them.
Well, yeah, because Cam left. So similar story because 7 players from that team got drafted in like the
Mm-hmm.
first 3 rounds or whatever. So yeah, what I want to see here is and then Michigan's getting a lot of hype. Obviously, Ohio State's getting a ton of hype, and then you could throw in maybe Penn
Mm-hmm.
State there. So what about the remaining Big Ten teams? Teams like Wisconsin, because I feel like Wisconsin. And we talked about
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska a little bit, but Wisconsin's kind of sitting there saying, "Hey, we're still Wisconsin. You still got to come to Camp Randall, play us." There's a few Wisconsin games that I'm really excited about. And when I say come to Camp Randall, Oregon comes to Camp Randall week 12.
Yes. Bryce, that was my third one.
Okay. I think that's going to be a really, really fun game that
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see. And dude, Oregon, it's got a pretty brutal schedule. They got Boise State coming to town week 2. They got a rivalry with Oregon State, and I don't know what Oregon State's going to be like. Obviously, they lost everybody.
Yeah.
Then you got Ohio State, and then you got Maryland, Michigan, Wisconsin, Washington. That's
And
interesting.
and for the Oregon fan base, I want to just give you full warning. Playing Maryland is annoying. It's
Yes.
real.
Amen.
It's really annoying because
Do
they're
you
gonna
think?
before they.
Do you think? Take out our fan. Like we agree on that the most. Michigan, Ohio State aside, that Maryland is annoying. Is that the thing we probably agree on the most?
I hate playing them. I hate it. I hate it.
It's awful.
It's annoying because I know I know what the outcome is going to be. I know what the outcome is going to be, but just getting to that outcome is it's annoying.
Yeah.
It's because for some odd reason they suck against bad teams, and then when Maryland comes to town,
And you've always said it, man. You've always said they've got talent. They just a lot of times can't put it together, but there's talent
I
on that football team.
if Maryland was in the Big Ten West for the last 10 years, I think they would have won that conference at least 4 to 5 times, or that division 4 to 5 times
Okay,
easily.
I was gonna say, hold on
No,
there.
no, no,
Yeah,
no,
the
no,
division, oh for sure.
and to be honest with you, and to say it off topic for a second, if Maryland did do that and they got to play in a dome with the way they play, it wouldn't be a easy game. So
No,
I mean,
dude, have you looked at Maryland's schedule? So they open up with UConn, should be a win.
mm-hmm,
Michigan State comes to town week 2.
mm-hmm.
Then Virginia, then Villanova, then Indiana, Northwestern. They could be 6-0 going into, and then USC comes to town,
They
and
could and they should be,
they could just as well be 8-0 playing Oregon, and they go out to Eugene. So
and,
that's a
get the
sneaky
and get
team.
the
Yeah, then they get
who's
they get belts right, but
yeah.
and then Rutgers, and they have a tougher stretch. But Maryland, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a boy, that'd be a fun one to keep an eye
And
on.
just to add on to what you were talking about with the Oregon Wisconsin game, it's I'm really interested to see what Luke Fickell has Wisconsin looking like this year. The game's at Camp Randall, as you said, also, and which is
Mm-hmm.
not an easy place to go. We also don't know what time that game is going to be at, and if it's at night, good luck to you. And also,
Mm-hmm.
it's the game before Washington.
Ooh, look
It's
ahead.
the game right, and there's a looking ahead. Like say you play uh, Purdue or Illinois. That's not the same thing as looking ahead against Wisconsin at
Yeah.
Camp Randall. That's not the same thing. And so, no, and this is Luke Fickell's second year, so we'll see what he has the team looking like. Um, and I do believe him to be a really good coach.
Our lives are a collection of experiences, moments of happiness or times of great loss. First homes, new babies, property loss, even heartache. Knowing that your insurance provider is always close by offers comfort. At Farm Bureau Insurance, the experience you get with our local trusted advisors is different. From financial security to a helping hand, Farm Bureau understands the experience matters. Find an agent who can protect what matters to you.
So,
So I'm looking at that week. So that's the November
mhm,
16.
okay.
And the obviously Fox is the big noon kickoff. And so none of the time's been decided yet. But the only other games that week are Nebraska at USC. You guys go to Northwestern. Yeah, I don't. My point is, would that be a night game? And I don't. I think that might be the best game of the week. So I
No, all
Fox.
eyes. If those are the game, what's the what are the SEC games look like that week?
Well, I'm just looking at the time because the time would
Okay.
be dictated by Fox. So the top game
Yeah.
of the week will be the big noon kickoff.
No, that was the big new kickoff. Yeah, all eyes are going to be on
Ah,
them
that stinks. That game should be at night in Camp
at
Randall.
night. It should be at night. Yes.
Maybe Nebraska will have a hot start and that game can take over and be a big noon kickoff. That's the
And
other thing
what?
too,
And what?
man. That's out in that Nebraska at USC.
Mm-hmm,
Big noon kickoff. That's a 9 a.m. start time. This is wrong. I love Joel Klatt, love
mm-hmm.
Gus Johnson, but you guys got to change things up. Get rid of big noon
and,
kickoff.
and while I'm here, let me just lobby real quick to Big Fox Big Noon Kickoff. This is me personally talking to you guys through the camera. I would be very delighted if you did it 2 years ago and you make sure to take that game and make sure that game and Happy Valley is at noon. It'd be much appreciated for me personally and from the Buckeye Nation. Playing it, I love playing in Happy Valley at noon, at 12. Just want to point that out there to make sure they take that game and that we don't play there at night.
What week is that? Do you know?
That is the week, I think, after Oregon.
Yeah, November. So that's gonna be what, week 10?
I think it's the week after Oregon.
Yeah. Ooh. Sorry for
Because I
everyone
know
watching. My computer is very sluggish right now.
I know I know we have Nebraska between two tough games. I think Penn State's right. There was a week after them or the week right after.
Oh,
Or 2
dude.
weeks after.
Hold on. That's an amazing week. So, Wisconsin, Iowa, Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, USC, Washington.
The Big Ten's gonna be this.
So that
I
I bet you'll get big noon kickoff for that one,
would
unless
hope so.
Oregon, Michigan takes it.
I would in that game.
You gotta be a little nervous about that because if Oregon,
Ooh,
Michigan takes big noon,
because night they're not gonna have a night game at Michigan.
yeah, if it's the bigger game, it'll go to Fox. But I think that means NBC gets you guys at you and Penn State at
If
night.
Oregon comes to you guys undefeated, Big Noon's taking that.
Yeah, I think you're right. So I think that means you're heading out to Happy Valley in the evening. It stinks. Tough.
I'm like, wait, I'm sorry. I'm actually stargazing right now. I just caught myself doing
You're
that. Like,
bummed, aren't
oh,
you? You're bummed. Hey,
I'm
another.
not bummed. Hold on, I'm not bummed, but
You're not as
dude, that is
excited.
here. Like, no, I'm not excited about that. No, I'm not.
Well, any other games? I know there's a handful of games here.
Oh,
What
oh.
else you got?
I have Penn State at Washington.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah. So the before that, I think so. Penn State goes UCLA, then where is this? Yeah, they go UCLA, then I think then they go at Wisconsin, then Ohio State. So you're talking about going from a home game to the next week going out to Washington State.
Yep.
You are like there's only a few teams in the Big Ten who actually have to go coast to coast. And even though Happy Valley, like if you kind of split the state of Pennsylvania in half, there's like East Coast, Midwest to it.
Yep.
But you're essentially going from coast to coast the next week after a very, very emotional rivalry game.
Yep.
Especially if that game is at night. And I bet you, Bryce, and the thing is, and I bet you because that game, if they let's say Bryce, they do play at home against Ohio State at night, okay? Now you would think that they want to kind of give you favor your schedule a little bit, especially for the athletes, and the games on the West Coast, and you're coming from the state of Pennsylvania. So let's say that game there's a chance that game starts around 7:00 their time. Or
Yep.
let's say 6, because then it makes almost a 3:30 start. Yeah, I think that's what it would be. It would be a 7:00 game because there'll be a 3:30 start for Washington, and essentially, I think in Washington, for a lot of you Big Ten fans that don't know, is not the easiest environment to play in.
No, that
A
place is
lot of people,
brutal.
I think a lot of Big Ten fans are going to find out that even though, like, say, Washington or Oregon stadiums are much smaller than, let's say, going to Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan, which are the 3 largest stadiums in the U.S., Michigan being largest in the world, those stadiums are, if not equal, except for Penn State, are maybe a little bit louder than Ohio State and Michigan stadiums are. So, because they're built for it, like the way the architecture is beautiful.
Yep.
But no, I think that's a trap game for them. That's a long-winded way of saying I think at Washington's a very big trap game for Penn State that week.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. That's a good one too. So we should see how the Big Ten schedules the night games out west because, like you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
there, the night game out west, say that game starts at 7 Pacific, that's 10 o'clock Eastern, and you can't do that to teams. And it kind of stinks because you're going to lose. Penn State at Washington is an awesome game at night, but again,
Mm-hmm.
that's 10 p.m. for Penn State and
If
for the folks on the East Coast. Like that's
if you
you
have
just
it
can't do
up,
that.
if you can pick this up from real quick, the week Ohio State and Oregon plays, who else plays in the Big Ten that week?
That Ohio State Oregon plays.
Yeah, that same week in the Big Ten, who else plays?
Is that week? That's week 7, right? I think it's week
7
7.
or 8. Yeah.
Pulling it up. So Purdue at Illinois, Washington, Iowa, Minnesota, UCLA, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, USC, Wisconsin, Rutgers.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out if we can get the Big Doom game in Oregon because I don't want to play there at night either. So that's all I needed, Bryce. I'm trying to.
Oh, you'll get that. That should for sure
Yeah,
be big new kickoff.
I still
Which
don't want to
again,
go to.
weird.
I still
I
don't want to go to Happy Valley at night.
I know, and I just wouldn't like it. We'll see. We'll see how it all shapes out.
Mm-hmm. For
But
sure.
it's gonna be tough to see. The other thing I'll note, we can wrap this up, and if anyone has any other games that
Mm-hmm.
we're missing, obviously comment
Yeah,
and send us
please say
some.
below.
I looking at Northwestern's schedule. Now, Northwestern obviously shocked the world in many ways last year, given that they were what
One of the
2-win
best
team
coaching jobs, one of the best coaching jobs I've
ever,
ever seen.
ever.
Ever.
They've got a favorable schedule, but I wanted to see who's coming to Northwestern. So I don't know if you noticed this. You guys come week 10,
No, we
November
don't.
16.
No, we don't.
Ohio State. Yeah, you
No,
do.
we play at Wrigley Field.
Oh, that game's at Wrigley? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm thinking, dude. I looked at the tickets. It might be worth
You
going.
have to go to that game. You have to go to that game.
But I'm also trying to go to the. I'm also thinking about going to the Ohio State Nebraska game. I think I'm going to that game.
Is that in
That's
Lincoln?
late. No, that's in Columbus.
Oh,
But
okay. You
it's
got
like
to go
no,
to
but
Wrigley, dude.
that sounds like fun.
That's like probably once in a lifetime opportunity to see your team play.
And it's a guaranteed win there. Like,
I mean, yeah, should be absolutely. So, all right, that game's at Wrigley. Very good. Wisconsin goes, and then so Northwestern plays Washington. So really, what I was trying to get at is
mm-hmm.
what teams have to go play at Northwestern at that sleepy noon slot. That sleepy, there's not a lot of people there, not a lot of hype because it's Chicago, and yeah, it's Evanston. It's a little bit north of the city, but
Mm-hmm.
Evanston's not a great college town, and not a lot of
Then
energy.
going to a game. If you've been to a game there before, haven't you?
Oh
I
yeah,
thought we've been together actually.
been to
It's
a few
not.
games.
Yeah, it's not fun. The band barely plays.
The stadium stinks. It's going to be because they're redoing the stadium, so they're going to be at
Mm-hmm.
their practice field right on the lake. So that could change things, but it's still going to be a small stadium. So I was just kind of curious who's going there, and since you guys are going to play at Wrigley, Wisconsin goes there. Not a lot of teams. I was hoping you get like a USC going to Northwestern, play that weird noon
Oh,
time, but I don't think that's not obviously
get
happening.
that
So,
ugly Chicago weather.
yep, yep, yep. Right on the lake, get some rain,
Mm-hmm.
some winds.
I've been to 2 games there, and every game I go there, it's just ugly. And you remember 2 years ago, Bryce, when we had that really bad game at Northwestern with CJ Stroud?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I feel like a lot of people like there was 40 mile per hour winds. I think people understand Chicago weather. It's called the Windy City for a reason, people,
Do you guys know why it's called the Windy City?
because of lake effect.
No, windbag
Why?
politicians.
Wait, repeat that again.
Windbag politicians. People were sick of all the.
Windbag.
Yeah, they would just talk out. I think they just talk out of their butt, and they're sick of
Oh,
the politicians there. So they call it the Windy
I
City.
thought you were saying they win bad politicians. 'Cause I was like, oh, that's true too.
Oh yeah, that too. No, but it's actually
But
not called the Windy
that's not.
City
But it's
because of
not
the
the
weather.
conversation right now.
Yeah, we're not getting into politics. Hey, one last thing to note here.
Yeah.
The Big Ten's non-conference, some of the non-conference games are awesome. And I think that's one of the benefits of these conference realignments and this reshaping of the sport. Michigan, Texas, I think is the number one. That'd be the number one non-Big Ten Big Ten game, right?
Only because of the rankings. I don't think it's the most interesting.
What's most interesting?
the Wisconsin versus they play. Does it play Bama?
They do. They do.
Yeah,
They go down
Wisconsin
to
versus Bama.
Wisconsin. I forgot about this. They go down to Tuscaloosa. Oh, that's awesome.
I can't wait. I
Okay,
can't
so
wait to watch that.
there's that one.
I hope they put up a fight.
Wait, do both UCLA and USC play LSU?
Yes.
Oh my
I know you.
goodness. So
I know
there's
LSU
that.
plays them early. I think LSU and USC play week 2, week 3.
Oh, this is fantastic. So you got that. USC, both USC and both Purdue play Notre Dame.
We
Which
play Akron.
Ohio State plays Akron. Illinois plays Kansas, a sneaky one. Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I love their coach. Lance Leipold.
Leipold.
Penn State at West Virginia. Remember that game last year? We thought that it would be a better game. I
Yeah.
think Penn State blow them out?
They didn't necessarily blow them out, but it was never in jeopardy.
Yeah. So that'd be fun in West Virginia, in Morgantown. I was going to
Mm-hmm.
quiz you on the
And
college.
I know. And Morgantown's a great football city. I've never been there, but I've seen it on television, and it's packed.
I don't think there's much to do there. Rutgers and Virginia Tech. Marshall, yep. So yeah, some really good ones. I think
who plays Virginia Tech?
Rutgers. Rutgers goes down to where's Virginia Tech?
That's outside the obvious. That's my biggest out of conference game in the Big Ten. I mean, outside the big. That's
now
I think B Tech's going to be good this year, but I think Rutgers has a chance to be good also.
Yeah. Well, what about this one? Nebraska, Colorado. I know you love Colorado. What's
that team's at 87 on the game?
Have you played it, by the way?
No, I haven't yet.
Neither have
I haven't yet. We have responsibility. Well, that's not because I just have a responsibility to take care of. But they're 87 on that game. Just pointing that out. That a 4 team is.
You're not excited about that game.
I am excited. Oh, no, I'm not excited about the that game. No.
Yeah.
I think Nebraska's going to beat them and beat them well.
Yeah.
But now, unless you have anything else, I have a topic that I wanted to bring to the forefront.
Please.
Because I've heard for quite a little bit while now that Michigan fans believe that you guys can make it to the playoff at 9 wins. And even if those losses are Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State, that you guys will still make it. Or there's a very good chance you will. And so before I bring this to the table, I want to know your thoughts on
that. Sorry, real quick. I think Biden just dropped out of the race.
Oh, no, I knew that was happening today. They said Friday that he was more than likely going to do it on Sunday, but it finally happened.
You knew that? I missed that.
Yeah, wow. It's been known. They said it early this week.
Yeah, I heard the rumors. I didn't know. Okay, what's official today? All right, sorry. I got very distracted. That popped up. What did you say? My bad.
Won't he do it? But he's lost 2 followers. No, my question was what are your thoughts on if you guys were to lose to Texas, Oregon, both those games at home, and lose to Ohio State? Do you think you guys can? What do you think the chances are you guys make it at 9-3 in the playoffs? Or do you think there's a good chance?
You got to see how the rest of it unfolds, but I don't like those odds because so you're saying you lose to Texas, Ohio State, and Oregon?
Mm-hmm.
So then who's your marquee win? That'd be the question that you'd have to ask. So if I pull the schedule again here. If you lose those 3 games and you want to get to playoff with 9 wins, that means you have to beat a USC, a Washington. That's really the best wins you can have. So if Washington
you got to hope USC is like
USC's got to be good.
So
go ahead.
No, continue.
Yeah, so I don't think you get in 9-3, depending on what happens. Now, if there's chaos across the board where you've got 5 teams at the top, let's say, that are there's a gap between 5 and 6, and maybe you can throw some interesting twists in there. Maybe you get in, but I don't see how you get in even to a 12-team playoff with 3 losses because you don't have a marquee win.
Well, Well, I'm happy to hear you say that because I've heard this sentiment plenty of times now to the point where I said, let me do my homework. Let me take 2 hours out of my day and find this stuff out and see this if they really have a chance. So I went back to 2014, which is the start of the college football playoff, of course, and I took all the teams from 1 to 12 because those are the teams that would make in this current format, right? How many 9-win teams do you think made the top 12 in the last 10 years?
Well, it wouldn't be top 12, right? Aren't there automatic bids?
Oh, maybe the top. Like I just the top 12 teams.
Okay.
That's what I did. I asked because I know I understand the automatic bids and all that, but the teams that would get the automatic bids are the teams that would be 1 through 4, of course. Or so I'm talking about the teams that are ranked 1 from 12.
Okay.
So I'm asking, how many teams do you think made it?
How many? I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll just tell you then.
Yeah.
10. Just 10.
Okay.
Now, and I broke it down by year. So these are the years that happened. In 2014, you had Clemson. I'm sorry, Ole Miss and Kansas State. Those are the teams that made it. Okay. But listen to who they beat. Ole Miss beat a number 3 Bama and a number 14 Texas A&M. Kansas State beat a number 11 Oklahoma, and Texas wasn't ranked that year, but they beat them 23-0.
Okay.
That's what Kansas State did. 2015, Ole Miss again beat number 2 Bama, number 17 Mississippi State. Then they beat number 23 Mississippi State. And then in 2016, you had 3 more teams that made it: USC, FSU, Oklahoma State. All had big wins. After that, Bryce, 2018, 3 teams. 2019, 1 team. And I'm not going to go through all the wins because, of course, you can find out they all had big wins. A 9-win team hasn't made it since 2019.
It's a good research, by the way. That's very interesting. Yeah.
And by the way, I'm sorry, real quick, Bryce.
Go ahead.
Also, if we're just running the numbers, if I take 10 and I divide that by 130 because you take the amount of times who did it plus the amount of times it could have happened, so 130, multiply that by 100, you're talking about 7%. That's a 7.6% chance that happens, that you guys make the playoff at 9 wins. And that's taking away the nuance of who did you beat.
Right. Yeah, no, that'll be I think you're right. I guess I would agree with you is that 9 wins isn't going to get you in. Mm-hmm. I think honestly having the conversation too of 10 wins get you in.
Mm.
Let's say
I'm still here, Bryce.
All right. Well, I see you. I don't know if you tried to shut that off.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even think 10 wins might necessarily get you in. Like, let's say you beat Texas, lose to Ohio State, lose to Oregon. Again, you got to see how the rest of the league shapes out. I mean, what if Texas schedule isn't the easiest schedule ever? You got Georgia, you got Oklahoma, Florida, Kentucky, A&M. So they could obviously win 10, 11 games, but they could also win 8 or 9 games. And so I think that matters too. So I'm saying a 10-win team with losses to Oregon, Ohio State, you might not even get in. Now,
right.
Let's say you lose to Texas, lose to Oregon, and we beat Ohio State, beat you guys. Depending on how the end of the season shapes out, how we've looked the rest of the year, you could get in. So I think it's 9 wins. I don't think does it for you again unless something crazy happens where the rest of the league.
I think 10 wins. I think if it's 10 wins, because Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State are more than likely all going to finish in the top 10. I think if you have a 10-2 Michigan with a Texas, Ohio State, or Oregon win, they're not getting left out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would disagree with you.
But I think if you don't beat them, you are hoping that USC becomes something that a lot of us don't think they're gonna be. I think they're I think USC is gonna be a 9-3 type of team, which I don't think that means they're a bad team. I think it means you're a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not enough.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy because I was very curious, dude.
I want to hear this last one. We got 3.5 minutes here. So
Mm-hmm.
I saw you getting at it on Twitter with somebody, but the perception of Ohio State players, floor's yours. Clear the air. Speak your piece here.
Yeah. So I've seen this sentiment for a very long time, and it's annoying to me personally because you Michigan fans don't know these kids, you aren't around these kids, you aren't covering these kids, and clearly, I don't want to say kids, these young men, and clearly you aren't seeing the things positive coming out by this team. A video just came out of G. Scott Jr. and his teammates and how about him trying to bring his faith to the team. And it's not that everyone else on the team is in faith. It's not just trying to push it onto everybody, but just trying to make sure that, like he shares as a testimony as a Christian, which he is. And in that, you see a bunch of his teammates and him personally baptizing them. And there's this sentiment that this team isn't together, that these guys only play for each other as individuals, that they only come to Ohio State for the money, they don't have a brotherhood and none of that, like all those narratives and sentiments that come out. And I very much caution people, especially if you've never been on a football team in your life, from Pee Wee to the NFL, even though the NFL is less than the NFL, but especially in college, guys in the locker room care about each other. Now that's not full bore across the room. Of course, you may not like one of your teammates, but overall, we go on that field to play for each other. If you never played this game, then you might say something like that. But I just want to point that out and just point out the facts about Ohio State football and the players that we have, like guys like Travion Henderson. Guys like Jermaine Matthews, guys like Burt, like all these guys that make impact in their communities and make impact whether through their faith or in other ways. So yeah, just want to point that out.
We have no real rules when it comes to sending each other things. I don't know why we would, but I'll just get it out there. We don't have any rules. But my rule is you cannot send me clips of guys like Travion and G. Scott doing good things because I can't like these guys. It is against the code of the show to like the other team's players. But you send me those clips and like it's really cool. It's cool to see. So, dude, I think, yeah, I agree with you, man. Every team has bad eggs, good eggs, guys that do a lot, guys that don't do a lot for the community, all that good stuff. And so, yeah, you got highlighting these players like Travion and G. Scott is really cool. It's bigger than the game, it's bigger than the rivalry, and it's stuff you love to see. And you got some bad eggs too, just like we do.
I just don't like when people say they aren't playing for each other and they don't care about each other and they don't have a brotherhood at Ohio State. That's the most asinine.
Yeah,
thing.
that's silly. That's
it's crazy to me.
I think people are trolling you.
It's not trolling me when you say it all the time on your show.
Yeah, that's true.
It comes to when you say something enough, then that's what you believe. If someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Yep. All right, well, good stuff. We'll see y'all next week. Go Blue.
Oh, and by the way, everyone mark this down. Noah Lyles is going to be Usain Bolt's 200-meter record. Okay.
Book it.
USA, baby.
USA.